So, welcome Kelly Murray from the Consortium for Service Innovation and the KCS Academy. I'm really happy to have you here for this talk about KCS and knowledge management.
I'm so excited to be here. Thank you.
Thank you. So, tell me a little bit about the work that you do with the Consortium and the KCS Academy.
Yes, so I work with both organizations. My focus is largely on communications and facilitation. And what the consortium does, we are a not-for-profit industry association. We've been around for about 25 years, and the people who participate with us are mostly high-tech customer support organizations. So we get together and hold events in which we try to really solve the big issues in the industry. And so for about the last 20 years, we've developed and maintained this methodology called KCS, or Knowledge Centered Service. It was developed mostly as a response to the question, how do we capture, structure, and reuse knowledge within our organizations so that we're not solving the same problems over and over again? And so as a part of that, as that methodology has matured and really become a best practice in support organizations, we built the KCS Academy, which focuses on certification and training for the KCS methodology.
Great. So if you wanted to give us a little overview of KCS, what it is, and how it works.
So the methodology it's a double loop process. So we are mostly focused on the event side of things. We capture, structure, and reuse knowledge in the moment and as it's described by the people who are interacting around that knowledge. And then there's a reflective loop so that we can start to determine patterns in the knowledge and ultimately make improvements in our products and services based on the information that we get from the people who are using them. So it's a closed loop feedback model that works really well for capturing what the organization knows as a whole.
And what would you say are the sort of top 3 benefits of working KCS?
Yeah, we usually organize the benefits of KCS in 3 sort of buckets. There are benefits to the organization, there's benefits to the employees, and there's benefits to the customer. So for the organization, you gain a level of operational efficiency in that you can really start to capture what the organization knows as a whole. Once you have captured that knowledge, you can publish answers to known questions out on the web through self-service. And then once you start to see patterns in the use of that knowledge, you can make some improvements to your products and services. Benefits to employees include the fact that people then don't feel like they're solving problems by themselves. So increased confidence in the people that employees work with. And then increase in the diversity of work. So instead of having to answer the same problems over and over again, mostly employees get to solve new problems, which is much more interesting. And then benefits to customers include increased customer satisfaction, reduced time to resolution because employees who are helping customers end up knowing much more than they did before and have access to that knowledge faster. And then a decrease in customer effort, especially as we publish known issues to self-service. When customers can find it by themselves, that ends up being a huge benefit.
Well, that sounds like it's something that would be great for any organization. But do you see that is it a better fit for some organizations than others, big or small, or any other differences that you can see?
We see KCS successfully implemented in all kinds of organizations. The size of the organization doesn't matter so much as the complexity of the issues that organizations are solving. So in an organization where there are sort of low handle times, 1 or 2 minutes, you might implement KCS a little bit differently than if it's in an organization where you have handle times of maybe a couple hours to a couple weeks. the type of knowledge that you might capture and the way that you might deliver that back changes a little bit. But KCS really is a huge benefit for any organization that's dealing with a lot of knowledge. So not only do we see it in high-tech customer support, but in the last couple of years, it's been rolled out in HR and legal and professional services, and really healthcare is another one. Mm-hmm. Any company that's really dealing with a knowledge-intensive situation or environment.
Okay. And thinking about the sort of bigger topics here in this event with ComAround, artificial intelligence and bots, how would you say that knowledge management at KCS are connected to that?
So many of the consortium members are playing with both bots and artificial intelligence. And the thing that we keep hearing is garbage in, garbage out. So if you are really trying to spin up a bot, the bot is only as good as the knowledge that you feed it. And companies with strong KCS implementations really see the benefit of that when they try to use both bots and artificial intelligence, because they have a body of knowledge that's structured in a specific way. That really allows the machines to parse that information in a way that is very helpful.
Mm. And the consortium talks also about the predictive customer engagement model. Could you tell us a little bit about that? You mentioned it in the beginning as one of your initiatives, but what would you say that it is? What is it you do?
So, we find that people are really finding a lot of benefits from KCS that are much bigger than KCS. So once you have this strong sort of knowledge base, predictive customer engagement is all about recognizing that we as organizations have sort of sit on a gold mine of information that our customers might find interesting. But if they don't know to ask us for it, how can we either recognize it or deliver it back to our customers as value? And that's what the predictive customer engagement model really looks at. So if you have an idea of the patterns of reuse and of the things that are happening for your customer base, and you can get out in front of problems or things that may become problems. For example, one of our members, PTC, has a very large goal about how they would like their support organization to be instigating 80% of their contacts from an outbound perspective by the year 2020. So they would only be receiving 20% of total volume would be customer driven, and everything else would be PTC driven, so that they are intercepting problems or opportunities before the customer even knows about them.
Oh, wow. Yeah, that sounds like a good way to go into the future.
It really turns that whole engagement model on its head.
Yeah. So if I were a support agent, then rather than opening up my computer and sort of facing a queue each morning, I would probably not have such a big queue, but I would have something else based on data, tell me what I need to do today based on what happened yesterday.
That's right. Based on patterns of reuse that have happened in the past, you might see something that says like, oh, this customer has this particular, same configuration as this problem that we ran into yesterday. So let's get out in front of it today. Let's go fix that before it happens.
Yeah. Yeah, that's definitely customer service, if anything.
That's right. It could be a big differentiator.
Yeah, for sure. So if for any organization that would like to adopt KCS, or even, or we can start with KCS, what would you say are the sort of top 3 tips on where to get started?
So because the Consortium for Service Innovation is a not-for-profit association, most of the work that we do is offered free to the public, right to use with attribution. And it's available on our website, which is serviceinnovation.org, or at the KCS Academy site, which is thekcsacademy.net. And especially at the KCS Academy site, there is some really good documentation about how to get started with KCS. One is our the KCS Principles and Core Concepts, which describes sort of the cultural change required for many organizations to successfully adopt KCS. And it describes sort of the basis from which decisions should be made when implementing KCS. We also have the KCS Adoption Guide, which is a great step-by-step description of how to get started. There is the KCS V6 Practices Guide, which is a complete guide of what we know works. It's a long read, but it is very comprehensive. We also have a whole handful of case studies about organizations who've been successful with KCS. And additionally, we have training available. So, as you know, you are a KCS certified trainer through the KCS Academy. There are others who are certified all over the world. And we also, so there is in-person training available as well as some online training available. And then we also have a very basic KCS fundamentals course that is an online class. It's self-paced. It takes about 90 minutes. It's a great way to sort of get a very brief overview of what a KCS environment or workflow might look like.
Okay, great. And if anyone wants to read or know more about the predictive customer engagement model, for example, or your other initiatives, they're also there?
They are at the serviceinnovation.org has a brief description of the work that the consortium is currently working on. The predictive customer engagement model is brand new, and so there's not a lot written down about it yet. But if you'd like to come join the conversation around it, we'd love to have you as a member.
Yeah. And we've been there, and it's great meetings and great discussions and really good insights into what you do.
Excellent. And we love having you as a member. Thank you.
Yeah. Thank you. Okay, so thank you so much for your time and for giving us some advice and tips on from your point of view in this, and looking forward to keep on talking with you.
Me too. Thanks so much.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye-bye.